Hello and Sani Bonani! It's Tuesday evening at 7:30 Central African Time, and that can only mean one thing. Tier 1 of Breakaway League Racing is here. Our top-tier drivers are taking on the Imola Speedway in Italy. 32 laps and a full qualifying session out here, as you have come to expect in this season's rendition of SA's premier and quite likely South Africa's biggest esports gaming racing league out here. We have absolutely all of the action coming up in a matter of minutes. Thank you for choosing us. Thank you for joining us. My name is Bob O'Connor. I will be with you here in commentary pretty much for the entire session, both through qualifying and the race itself. Welcome to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix out here. It is, of course, held at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, often, of course, referred to as Imola, after the town where this race circuit is located. Now, it, of course, has a length of about 4.9 kilometers, and we will be seeing these drivers take that on, of course, for a period of 32 laps here. A lot of action. William Pella, welcome to the comment section. We're about to have an absolutely fantastic time. As you can see, S. Buddha is here. Mandla, a.k.a. Romeo. Seaflay, Zotel, Seppo Temba, Lungs, Mello the Mello, Selby Sango, M. Fundo. Josh, a.k.a. Damnesia, is here, as is Kaboza, and the 86er. Perhaps, as the load-shedding situation across South Africa and the schedules sort of a switch and flick throughout the evening, we might just see more drivers. We hope to see more drivers join us on the paddock here, out here in Italy. We're going to have a fantastic race. William, you're one of our first to join us here in the comments section. Keen as ever to hear your thoughts. Let's go Red Bull, says Miss Bono, with her trademark blue pom-poms. And today she's got a blue ribbon, and she's doing artistic gymnastics in the comments section, of course. And the blue ribbon has Zotel and Kaboza's names written on it. Miss Bono is, of course, one of our most fervent supporters and quite active in the comments section, even when the situation calls for the defense against the roast of Zotal, as we saw a couple of weeks ago out in Baku, I believe that circuit was. Well, we're here in Imola. We're about to have a fantastic race, and I'll be keeping you clued up and updated on everything happening here as far as the driver's standings and the driver's performances are concerned. That man, Seaflay Laga, the Ferrari, currently leads this championship. He has 247 points, leading from Mello the Mello, who suffered a grave mistake which cost him dearly, coming off a three-race win streak, which was ended by Seaflay last time out. Mello the Mello is second in the driver's standings, 175 points. Lungs is third in the Alpine, 136 points. And Seppo Temba, what a performance from him, 112 points in fourth place. Ban Kobe is the fifth driver in the standings, 106 points. And he is the fifth and last driver, so to speak, to be on triple digit as far as points are concerned. We then have Titus, the former champion for Haas, 83 points in sixth place. M. Fundo has 80 points in seventh place. S. Buddha, his teammate in the Aston Martin, 71 points in eighth place in the championship. D-Wax is currently ninth in the championship, and Loveness rounds off the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship standings. We then have Enlebo in 11th, Tindo is 12th, Zotal is 13th, slowly creeping his way up, and would you look at that, it's Rain! Kaboza is 14th, Josh Damnesia 15th, Spizozo 16th, then the 86er is 17th. Currently at risk of automatic relegation is that man Romeo Massingo, aka Mandla, in 18th place. Selby Sango is 19th, and Man Ray in the Ferrari is in the last spot. Only 2 points that he has accrued since the start of the championship. So a lot of work for Man Ray to do, and let's make sure we have all of the information, all of the details that you would want and that you would need. If you've just joined us, welcome! We have 18 minutes of Q1. It is a full qualifying session in tricky conditions, as you can see out here in Imola. How will this affect performances? Well, had the drivers done some laps or some preparations in or simulations in this sort of weather? Well, time will tell. We'll see exactly who will be among the front runners. A Haas is one of the first drivers to make its way out. Is that Titus? No, it is Enlebo. So let's hop on with this man who's been based in the UK for quite some time. Romeo, says Mike Banda with some crying face emojis. Well, Romeo is here. Mandela is here. Let's see how he fares. And Lebo is out here in the Haas. 51 championship points for this man. A steady season. He's maintaining his place right in the middle of the standings. Currently 11th place, actually, on 51 points. So, can he maintain his consistency as far as racking up the points is concerned? Can he make sure that he secures a decent points finish today to kind of, well, ensure that he cements his place as part of next season's Tier 1 lineup? Time will tell. Of course, a couple of drivers are definitely under pressure. We don't see Man Ray out here today. It could be an issue of load shedding. For our non-South African viewers, well, there's an issue as far as the power supply is concerned across South Africa, and from time to time, the power supply is rationed across different neighborhoods. So, yeah. My money's on Seaclay today, says William in the comments. Will that prove true? Well, he is the championship leader, 247 points. William, I would not bet against you based on the quality of driver that Seaflay is, and of course what he's been able to do in the championship this season as well. Let's go Aston Martin, says Mike Banda in the comments. Aston Martin music. Mike Banda is playing a little bit of Rick Ross. Yes, I'm quite familiar with Rick Ross, despite what my age says. Let's hop on board with this man. And Lebo, who's the first to get out of the pits. He is the first to attempt a hot lap as Selby Songo makes his way out of the pits on the right-hand side. Let's see how Lebo can do through the first sector. The conditions are tricky. He comes through very unscathed. I suppose the engineers have advised these drivers to come out in a set of intermediate tires. The rain isn't looking like it's going to, well, chill out or abate anytime soon, but we'll just have to see how that pans out as this session goes along. Now, Ndabo is the first to begin a hot lap attempt. We'll catch up with S. Buddha, who is just a few places behind him, having begun his hot lap attempt, as well as Tepo Temba and Seaflay. So those are the four drivers currently having crossed that start-finish line. Right. Ndabo, what can you do? You are quite far ahead by some distance from the other runners. Oh, a little bit of a snap there, but he gets that car back on track. He's about to approach one of the heaviest braking zones, this chicane, which, of course, claimed the scalp of Charles Leclerc, if you recall that F1 race a little bit earlier. Let us see how Ndabo fares as Ngwako, a.k.a. D-Wax, says, I wish we could have seen the dry times in quali. Yep. Absolutely agree with you, Ngwako, a.k.a. D-Wax. Let's see how Lebo fares now. He comes through the final turn. He stares down that start-finish straight. 1 minute 22, 24, 25. What will it be? He crosses the line to set a 127.223. Now, S. Buddha is not too far behind. He's just come through that chicane, of course. He is going nice and steady. He has not been validated or anything like that. We will see how S. Buddha fares now. This is what it looks like on board. He comes through, of course, the second last corner. He takes it nice and cleanly, hits the apex, a little bit wide of the apex through the final corner there, but now he is absolutely sending it as Seaclay has laid down a gauntlet of 125.029. That is the time to beat. S. Buddha comes fairly close by a factor of about 6/10. And Tepo Temba in the Alpine has crossed the line with a 125.4, splitting the time set by Seaflay and S. Buddha, as you can see there. And Fundo has set a 126.393. So, nice and steady from the Aston Martins to start us off. Josh, a.k.a. Damnesia, has crossed the line with a 127.236. His teammate Romeo is about to cross the line, and he does, behind Damnesia, 127.335. So, Josh and Romeo are pretty much neck and neck, well, almost, by a factor of about a thousandth of a second, actually. And this man, Zotal, who was under pressure as far as the championship points is concerned, has just crossed the line with a 126.989 to put himself in P5 out here in Q1. Now, his teammate, Kabosa, is making his way through the first sector. Definitely looks like a, well, he had just, of course, across the start-finish line. So let's see how he fares in the Red Bull here. Kabosa going nice and steady as far as the championship is concerned. He's currently 14th, so definitely some work to do. He will want to make sure that he avoids a playoff or having to fight for his place via the playoffs. Right now, he is one spot above that playoff zone. Seaclay goes even faster, 124.617. He is the only driver, Seaclay, to set a time in the 1 minute 24s. What can Kabosa do as Tepo Temba joins Seaclay with a 124.617? The lap times are falling. The drivers are getting accustomed to these conditions. But what can Kabosa do? Can he set a time at least in the 1 minute 25s? Well, that would at least guarantee him a spot as far as this the start of the session is concerned in the top 10. He sets a purple sector too, does Kabosa, as he comes through that chicane, beginning the third sector for Red Bull. What kind of a time can you set, Kabosa? He comes into this second last corner, does Kabosa, and the final corner, he stares down the start-finish straight. What can you do, Kabosa? What kind of a time can you set? And he crosses the line in 8th place, a 126.131. Meanwhile, the likes of Loveness and Lungs had set times as we were out there watching Kabosa do his thing. And I would have you know that this man, Teppo Temba, leads the standings. He leads the timesheet in Q1 with a 124.609. An absolutely scorching time from Teppo Temba out here. Mello the Mello, who was on a redemption mission after his disaster class by his standards, making that huge mistake last time out. He is out for blood. He is out for a possible race win here. He's in a rich vein of form, a purple patch. He's no stranger to purple sectors. Can he claim one now? Well, he's making his way through the second sector, and as he crosses that sector marker, it is a purple second sector. Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi, Mercedes the Mercedes is quickest in the second sector. What can he do now in this third and final sector? What kind of a time can he set? Can he lay down the new gauntlet with 10 minutes of qualifying to go? Here comes Mello the Mello to the second last corner and the final corner, of course. He is the man hunting down Seatley as far as the championship points are concerned, and he will cross the line quickest with a 124.538, a new quickest time out here in Q1. Absolutely fantastic from Mello the Mello. Seatley is still out there going slow and steady. He's about 4/100ths of a second quicker than his previous time through the end of the first sector, and he ends the second sector about 2/10ths up on his previous best, but as far as I can see, that was not a purple second sector. So, can't you lay down the new gauntlet? Can't you lay down the marker, Seasley, and give Mello the Mello something to think about? Let's go, teammates, says Ben Kobe with the metallic green pom-poms in the comments section. Ben Kobe, we hope that you could join this session and join this race as Seasley crosses the line with the quickest time of the 124.169 in the Ferrari. Seasley is quickest with 9 minutes of qualifying to go out here in Imola. Absolutely fantastic. Now, let's see this man, Selby Sango. What can you do? He is under pressure, is Selby. Just 13 championship points, and unfortunately, he has invalidated his lap, his hot lap attempt. We'll have to catch up with him a little bit later. This man, the 86er, is under pressure. Well, he's the 13th driver to join here. And of course, even though there are just 14 drivers, well, we could still see people getting eliminated out of Q1 here. So you do not want to be as close to the bottom as possible here. Well, let's see exactly how things pan out, especially if more drivers are able to join before the end of this qualifying session. We are now on board with the 86er who comes through the second sector. He's about to finish sector 2, is the 86er. He's about a second quicker than his previous best time, which is a 127.3. So he needs to at least set a time in the 125s, in the mid of the 1 minute 25s, to be able to secure his place firmly within Q2. And hey, if he can't improve in these conditions, if we'll have a rainy Q2 and Q3, who knows? The 86er might just be able to set his place among the top 10 shootout. But long way to go. Here he comes. He crosses the line, and he goes 7th quickest, 125.407 for the Williams Racing driver. That is the 86er. Josh, a.k.a. Damn Ninja. What can you do now? Currently sitting in 13th place. Of course, Josh was one of the first drivers to come out. He's no stranger to coming out early, is Josh, a.k.a. Damn Nisha. Let's see what he can do this time round. Liddy says 15 drivers, so no need for Q1, he says, as of course, we've seen Ben Kobe, who's cheering on his teammate, Mello Malusi, who had set so far the second quickest time. Josh, Damn Nisha, what can you do here? And he makes his way through the second sector. Josh is no stranger to lighting it up. Even in these conditions, we have seen his qualifying pace, especially last season. Josh has quite some way to go to match some of the heights, the qualifying heights that he did match last season. But as I say that, he goes quickest through the second sectors, does Josh, beginning the third. And it might just be an absolutely scorching, super competitive time from Josh, aka Damnesia. He's also one who needs to really put in the work here. Just 33 points in the championship. He sits in 15th place in the driver's standing, does just Josh. Now, what can you do? He's on the final start, finish straight. Damnesia crosses the line 2.5 seconds quicker than his previous best time, and it's good enough for P4, a 124.698. The fourth and final driver to set a time in the 1 minute 24. So, a hell of a lap, a hell of an effort from Josh, aka Damnesia. Quite a lot of the grid currently is in the pits. We'll catch up with Josh's teammate, that being Mandla, and see how he fares here in his second hot lap attempt. But Zotal, of course, we've mentioned him. He's been roasted mercilessly in the comment section. He bounced back to claim a podium spot last time out. What can you do this time, Zotal? What can you do out here in Imola? We are now on board with this man. Zotal making his way through the second sector. He's about to complete the second sector, and let's see what that looks like relative to his previous best time that he had set. He takes it nice and easy, does there? No need for unnecessary risks. Of course, in these conditions, you tend to have to brake even earlier, and well, missed apexes can cost you so much time if that car, if you were too heavy on the throttle and were slipping and sliding around. But yeah, this definitely looks like a super slow attempt for Zotal. It might have been an abandoned hot lap that we're watching here. So instead, we will catch up with this man, Mandla, Romeo Massigo here. What can he do? He's just begun his hot lap attempt. Gamma Maverick in the comments says he's looking forward to this race. Was hoping to watch it from the commentary box tonight. And hey, Gamma Maverick, anything is possible here. Let's see what Romeo can do. And of course, we are likely to see, we could see two McLarens comfortably into Q2 and perhaps even Q3 if they can maintain a rich vein of form in these conditions. Most of the drivers are in the pits, as you can see, with the exception of the likes of Selby, the 86er, and Mandla. We'll catch up with Selby, actually, before we'll hop back to Mandla. Remember, Selby has yet to set a time, so let's see how he fares. He has just gone quickest, has Selby, through Sector 2. Well, let's see how this translates as far as the lap time is concerned. Selby Songo under pressure, rock bottom of the standards with about just under 4 minutes of qualifying to go. What can he do for AlphaTauri? It's Selby Songo in the AlphaTauri, crosses the line, 125.4, good enough for P10. And here comes Mandla. He will cross the line now. Quickest, 124.135. What a time for Mandla in the Papaya Orange McLaren. He sets the times alike, does Mandla. 124.135. The quickest time as Selby Songo retires. Presumably that little piece of debris is from the AlphaTauri of Selby Songo. I can't necessarily see it in this camera shot, but Selby Songo has crashed out of the session. Mandla A, says Kid K in the comments section. Yes, I am here. Do not forget me. Remember my name, says Mandla with that time, a 124.135. Now, I would have you remember that Mandla was under immense pressure at the tail end of last season. He had to fight for his place in Tier 1, and in the playoffs, at this very circuit, he, along with Man Ray, were setting the timesheets absolutely ablaze. So, it's a circuit perhaps that might have become one of his favorites for Mandla. We saw what he could do during the playoffs. He was absolutely fantastic, and he has been sublime here today to set that fastest time with 2.5 minutes of qualifying to go. What an effort, what a time from Mandla in the McLaren. The 86er, what can you do? As we catch up with you once again. Oh, he went quite heavy on the curbs, and as you can see, he has invalidated that time as the 86er. Now, does he have enough fuel on board to be able to go for another half lap attempt? Now, some of these drivers tend to underfuel and pretty much put enough fuel for their out lap and their hot lap. And is that the case for the 86er? Well, perhaps not, because he has just begun another hot lap attempt. We'll catch up with him a little bit later, because this man, Mfundo, is currently almost 4/10 quicker than his previous best time. He took some liberties on the curves there, did Mfundo, but not enough to invalidate, say, the steward. Now, let's see how he fares here through the third sector. We're on board with Mfundo, who is, as far as we're hearing rumors from the paddock, he sacrificed a lot, as Mfundo. He could have been deep within some chats and perhaps even cuddles today, but no. It's breakaway race day for Mfundo, and it is an absolutely serious time as he crosses the line almost 4/10 quicker than his previous best, 124.971 for Mfundo. It puts him in P7. ETV game Commandla, says Escalo in the comment section. Well, Magla just got up like the Undertaker, says Ronald Pipes. Indeed, absolutely, yes, absolutely. He has risen from the ashes of the bottom of the timesheet. Now, and Gabo, what can you do for Haas here, trying to improve your time? He is, some way behind the 86er. So, let's see exactly how the 86er, who's a little bit further ahead, is faring. He's about 2/10 quicker than his previous best, is this man. He is also set a time in the 1:24, as the 86er. And let's see what he can do now. He is under pressure as the 86er as far as the championship points are concerned. And, well, how about that? Third place, 124.246 for the 86er in the Williams. An absolutely scorching effort there from the 86er. Now, Enlebo is one of the last drivers out on track. Along with the 86er, everybody else is in the pits. He crosses the line to Enlebo in P10 with a 125.302. If you've just joined us, this is the end of Q1. We're qualifying out here in Imola, and Romeo tops the timesheets, followed by Cifle and the 86er. And then we have Melo de Melo in 4th place. Tepo Temba is in 5th, followed by Damnesia, then Mfundo, Zotal and Loveness in 7th, 8th, and 9th. Lebo is 10th. Lungs currently in 11th place. As Buddha and Kaboza round off 12th and 13th place, with Selby Sango having crashed out, who did set a time of 125.418. What a qualifying session. What will Q2 bring weather-wise? As you've seen, the rain was really starting to dry up there, as Nguako notes. We really hope for a drier qualifying session, perhaps in Q2 and Q3. And hey, maybe Nguako, aka D-Wax, could join us and play a handy wingman to teammate Selby Sango. Well, time will tell here. Thank you for choosing Breakaway League Racing. We are about to begin Q2 out here in Imola. We are in Italy, of course. It is race number 15. And we will see exactly how the rest of this qualifying session goes along. By the time we get to our top 10 shootout, I would love to hear from you what your expectations are for P1, P2, and P3, especially if these conditions persist. Well, Cifle is still there and thereabouts, and the 86er, of course, he got comfortable and put himself third quickest in that first qualifying session. Will that be the case in Q2 and Q3? Well, stick around. As you can see in the sky, the clouds are really starting to make way, and, hopefully in Q3 we'll be singing, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Perhaps. That's what we hope for, that the rain will be gone, that the conditions will dry up, and that will be a Q3 session on slick tires. Man, what a session that would be in prospect. You are watching Breakaway League Racing. It is Q2 up next. And as you can see at the bottom of your screen, Tindo, the Alfa Romeo driver, has just joined the session. He is now in the paddock. He's getting set. Not exactly what is on Tindo's playlist currently. Bratax, what do you reckon?
Tindo's thandele Pumshaka. Ukhali Pumshaka ngilile lapha Alfa Romeo. Ukhalele bumathoso bisecula baya netrompisa. Tindo's qale iPumshaka netrompisa. No Britney Spears, Britney angazi ungenaphi mara uTindo yabona mafika umusic uTindo standard music yabo. Yaba yarasa lapha Alfa Romeo.
Well, apparently Britney Spears and Boom Shaka are blaring the Alfa Romeo pit in the garage there in the paddock. Well, we'll verify that as the session goes along. Gamba Maverick says Mello and TT will enter the top 3 from Q2. Well, do you agree? I'd love to hear what you think by the time we get to Q3 here in the qualifying session. Well, take a look up. It's 15 minutes of qualifying for Q2, and it looks like conditions are dry. But now remember, it's been a washed out Q1, which means the track is green. It hasn't been rubbered out, as would normally be the case in a dry qualifying session, and that extra rubber, of course, would have implications as far as tire grip is concerned. So, well, in these conditions, these drivers will be rubbering up the track, rather, from scratch. Let's see how that pans out. Over here, we'll see exactly who will take advantage. Sequay looks like was one of the first to come out. Van Kobe says, this is going to be an interesting race. I will give it my best shot, with a smiley face. Well, do you put your money on Van Kobe to pull a Lewis Hamilton and fight his way from the back of the grid to a decent points position? Well, Van Kobe is no stranger to turning it on when it comes to really laying down the markers and qualifying and making his mark on races. So, Van Kobe, we will see. It's a green track, indeed. Loving the commentary from Bertox there. Well, we do appreciate it. Bertox is currently sipping on a I think it's ginger tea.
I
beg your pardon?
Gammer.
Gammer, yes, he's sipping on Gammer. It's a ginger-based drink, quite popular here in South Africa, I'm told. Now, Seaflay is your championship leader. He's opted for a set of medium tires, meaning, of course, this tire compound is the one that he has chosen to begin the race with. As you can see, about 5 drivers have currently opted to select medium tires in Q2, and that means, of course, that they are hoping, if they can set their quickest times, they are hoping to begin this race on a set of medium tires in this race. Now, the DRS is open, the rear wing is open, rather, for Seaclay as he begins his hot lap attempt. Now, Seaclay is, of course, no stranger. Look how he takes those apexes so clean. He is not shy at all when it comes to track limits, is this man Seaclay. And he comes through now. What is he going to do as far as this chicane is concerned? He kind of misses that left apex, but the right hand, he takes it nice and cleanly, does Seaclay. Of course, being the first to set a time, this will be the time to beat. This will be the gauntlet that Seaclay will be laying to the rest of the grid. What can he do here? He is already in the 200s as far as points is concerned, is Seaclay, and he is dragging that Ferrari team to second place in the constructors' standings. Of course, Seaclay has racked up 247 points for his team. So, what can he do here now? Here comes Seaclay now. He's going to come to this braking zone through the chicane. He comes, a little bit heavy through that chicane there, especially that right-hander. But he has not invalidated, which is all that matters to Seaclay. Now there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. I wonder who that is. We'll catch up with that a little bit later as Seaclay is about to complete his hot lap attempt. He is the first, of course, to come out here, and he will be crossing the line to set a 117.465, which is only bettered by this man, Josh, aka Damnesia. Damnesia, 117.005 on a set of soft tires, which is bettered by Malusi the Malusi, 116.999. He is already in the 1 minute 16s as Malusi the Malusi. Are these pretty much the pinnacle as far as the times that we're going to see here in Q1? I cannot wait to see, rather in Q3, I cannot wait to see how that pans out. I'm trying to catch up exactly with the rest of the drivers who are on a hot lap attempt. Romeo Mandla, of course, set the lap times alight in Q2 in wet conditions. What can he do now when it's set of soft tires? Now the conditions have dried up. He has not invalidated as the 86er goes quickest with a 116.9. It's a bit of a glitch there because he's a bit slower than Mello the Mello, according to the times. Mandla crosses the line with a 118.2 as Tempo Tempa says, I am here, laying it down with a 116.349 at the top of the timesheets. The times are trickling in now. Zotal has donated his wing to the Imola circuit here. So we'll see what he can do. Brakeaway was on a second hot lap attempt. He improves to 116.603. He was quickest in the third sector, but not quickest overall. Everyone is going faster, says Ronald Pipes in the comment section. Ron Pipes says turn 14 and 15 will claim DNFs. Time will tell. Oh man, the timesheets are absolutely tumbling here as the quick laps are just coming in. And Kasana says TT is so fast. Absolutely quickest with a 116.349 is Tepo Temba. An absolutely scorching time. S. Buddha has made his presence felt, I would have you know. Fourth place currently with a 116.956. Now, will it be a second hot lap attempt, a back-to-back hot lap for S. Buddha? It definitely looks like it. Now, let's see exactly how it pans out. As the 86er is the first driver in the 115 with a 115.922. The 86er is here in the Williams. I might be bottom 4 as far as championship is concerned, says the 86er, but do not count me out. For Williams, he sets the absolutely fastest time. As Buddha, you have seen that. What can you do? As the Buddha for Aston Martin, you're being cheered on by Mike Banda in the comment section. Now, what can you do here in response to all of these times? You're already top 6 as far as Q2 standings are concerned. Oh, he slows down. There's a yellow flag. He had to slow down there, as did Ndebo. So Espuda will likely have to perhaps go for another hot lap attempt here. I can hardly breathe. The fast times are just coming in, and everybody's just laying it down. And I absolutely cannot wait to see how it all pans out. The 86er tops the timesheets as Buddha comes in, perhaps to refuel, because that was, remember, his second. That was a back-to-back hot lap run for Espuda, but he had to abandon thanks to the yellow flags. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2 currently, and well, the 86er is still out on track, but is this an in-lap? We'll get a sense of that. As the 86er is grinning, he's beaming, grinning from ear to ear as he makes way for a Red Bull, that being the Red Bull on an out lap. It looks like, no, it wasn't Cabozo, it was this man, Zotal, who is now about to begin his hot lap attempt. He lost the wing last time out. Christian Horner will not be pleased with that. Of course, Zotal now is under pressure to get things done to secure his spot in the top 10 shootout. With times in the 1 minute 15s, who will be getting knocked out? I'd love to hear your thoughts on who you rate might be getting kicked out of this qualifying session here. Zotal is currently on a hot lap attempt. In front of him is this man, Lungs. In fact, let's watch him, of course, and see how he does. We haven't been on board with Lungs as yet. We know what kind of pace he has. He has been absolutely stellar. Top 3 as far as the championship points is concerned this season. He is having a blinder of a season. Currently no time set. He has opted for a set of medium compound tires. That is the tire that he hopes to start this race with if he can set a time to secure his spot in the top 10 shootout. It was a little bit wide through the final corner, his Lungs, but what can he do now? In the start-finish straight, what kind of time can he set? Lungs will cross the line, it looks like, to begin a hot lap? Oh, I thought there was a hot lap attempt. Zotal, meanwhile, has crossed the line with a 117.037. Funny enough, Lungs' time was a 117.175. There it is, yes. So Lungs is only good enough for P9, I would have you know, and Zotal finds himself in P8. So definitely under pressure, remember, only 10 drivers are making it out of here. So Capoza, M. Fundo, Loveness, you still need to set your qualifying times. Loveness had invalidated his previous laps, and he will now, wait, what's going on here? Loveness will now begin his hot lap attempt. Yes, that was the information I was looking for. Loveness, of course, we know what kind of pace he has. No matter the conditions, this man has absolutely insane pace. and he is really one of the last people you want to see in your rear view mirror. He puts you under immense pressure in race conditions, and he can absolutely get away from you if he can get past you. Loveness is absolutely incredible on race day. 58 championship points currently, finds himself in 10th place as far as the championship points are concerned. Making his way now through the second sector. What can he do for Williams? Loveness has also opted for a set of medium compound tires, and will hope to be among the top runners here as Zotal improves to set a time in the 1 minute 16.019. Zotal comfortably in the top 10 shootout now with 5 minutes to go in qualifying. He finds himself in P2, but Loveness has yet to set a time, remember, and he has invalidated. Do you have enough fuel, Loveness? Can you... Oh, man. Well, that fuel light isn't flashing yet, so we're going to have to catch up with you a little bit later. There's an Alpine about to cross... now it looks like a Williams, but let's see how Lungs fares now in his attempt to improve. Remember, he's 9th spot, so he's definitely at risk, is Lungs, as is Kaboza, who's following some way behind him. We'll catch up with Kaboza and see how he fares in the rest of this qualifying session. Let's see now. Oh, Lungs says, look at that red light. That red light on the bottom right, it's flashing. He is probably out of fuel, is Lungs. You'll have to come back to the pits. Will you have enough time, Lungs? That is the question. Well, someone who is having the time of his life, seemingly, is this man in Lebo, who's just gone quickest through the second sector. Now, he is now making his way to the final part of the track, absolutely milking those track limits is Enlebo. Let's see what he can do here. He crosses the line in 10th place. 117.181 is Enlebo. He is 10th as far as the standings are concerned. Doing absolutely fantastic as Enlebo here. But of course, he is under pressure. He is at risk of getting knocked out of this Q2 session. Now, Kaboza, what can you do now? What can you do through this third and final sector? And I'm glad that Kid K is tending to Chalen's comments about potentially joining Brakeaway. Oh man, what a little bit of a rough ride, Kaboza, through that final corner. He is now in that start-finish straight. He is only 10th, still at risk. 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Most of the grid is still in the pits, with the exception, of course, of the drivers that are still at risk. Loveness had invalidated, as we saw previously. What can you do this time around, Loveness? Let's hop on board and see exactly how he fares. Just catch up with the comment section. Mello is looking like a champion in waiting, said Gamma Maverick in the comment section. Stichle and Mello on mediums. Dang, said Escalo in the comment section. TT fulfilling my prediction. Time of the 115s, of course, was absolutely exceptional from the likes of the 86er. And, well, petrol price increases are affecting our drivers, says Mike Banda. Of course, Lungs ran out of fuel there, as you saw earlier. He's going to have to come out and set a time with Lungs if he's going to set a time in to secure his place in the top 10 shootout. Here's Loveness on the start-finish straight, and he will cross the line, 117.1. That is not quick enough, Loveness. Still only 12th. He is not through to the top 10 shootout. Would you look at that? 9 drivers are in the are setting times in the 1/16th and quicker, with one driver, of course, that being the 86er, in the 1 minute 15s. Absolutely insane times. Oh man, absolutely insane. Now, Loveness, what can you do? We'll catch up with you a little bit later. Kaboza had invalidated, and look at that. That red light is flashing. He is out of fuel. He's gonna have to come into the pits. He probably will not have enough time. Kaboza. Kaboza is quite likely going to be knocked out here, unless he can miraculously make his way around. Loveness. Oh, man, he's off track now. He was also another one trying to make his way to secure his spot in this top 10 shootout. Well, let's see. Let's see now what Espuda can do in his final, presumably his final hot lap attempt here. He has about less than a minute. He's definitely slowed down. He's allowing McLaren, that being the McLaren of this man, Josh, aka Damnesia, who has 50 seconds to cross that start-finish line and, put in a hot lap, a time that'll definitely secure his spot in that Q3. Of course, he is at risk, along with a Nebo, I would say, and perhaps even Mandla if things go awry here for him. Josh, aka Damnesia, under pressure in the Papaya Orange McLaren. What can he do? We are now on board with him. Of course, his previous best time is a 1:17.005. What can he do now? Let us get a sense of what Josh can do now. Here, the 86er is doping, exclaims Charlie 3 Stacks in the comment section. Well, we're currently watching Josh, aka Damnesia, do his thing here. He comes through here unscathed through that right-hander. This is one of the slower braking zones. The time is up if you've not crossed that start-finish line. The time is up. You have to secure your spot in the top 10 shootout. And I would have you know that Seaclay, further ahead, is on the verge of completing his final hot lap, as is Lungs a little bit further ahead. So let's catch up with Lungs and see what he can do. Seaclay goes quickest, 1:15.416. Lungs, what can you do under pressure? He goes 6th, 1:16.250. Absolutely fantastic for Lungs to secure his spot in the top 10 shootout. Let's go back to Josh, aka Damnesia. He's gone 6/10 quicker than his previous best time. He is under pressure, is Josh. And he is, of course, followed a little further back by the Mercedes of Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi. What can he do now on the start-finish straight? It's Josh Damnesia in 8th place. As things stand, he is through into the top 10 shootout. He becomes the one of the final drivers to secure his spot, as Malusi the Malusi is on a slow run here. So this is your grid for Q3. Seaclay, the championship leader, tops the timesheets with a 1:15.4, followed by the 86er in second place in Q2. Mello the Mello is third. Zotal secures his spot in fourth place, followed by Mfundo in fifth, Lungs in seventh, and then we have Espuda, Josh, Damnesia, Seppo Temba, as well as Romeo. It is a double feature for McLaren in our top 10 shootout, and Nebo, Loveness, and Capoza, the three drivers knocked out of Q2. If you've just joined us, welcome to Breakaway League Racing. This is top tier, tier 1 racing, and today we are in Italy. Looking forward to Q3. That is your top 10. Who will be at the top of the timesheets? I'm looking for your P1, P2, and P3 predictions. Here, let me know in the comments. Seaclay lighting up the timesheets once again. He is top in Imola. Well, not exactly sure what you make of that. Capoza, unfortunately, could not make it through to Q2, but the other Red Bull of Zotal, who is on a sort of redemption arc, if you will, has made it through to Q4, or rather through to Q3 via P4 in this qualifying session. Tux, it's a recovery from Zotal.
Ayazama ukuthi ngitshela ile mechanic esephosphorus ngimtshelile angithi bafaka le insimbi le Corolla.
How's that possible? How could you put a Corolla apart in a Red Bull?
Hayi mechanic uyazi into ayenzayo kune part ye-Corolla kunensimbi ye-Corolla bayifakela ku-engine da angazi noma i-gearbox or kanjani mara usethi that's why izinto manje zithi ziya-improve yabo.
Well, apparently, I don't know if that's true or not, but Zotal has been getting some help from a mechanic in Vosloris, which is a township, if you will, on the east of South Africa's Gauteng province. Well, it's interesting, as we're about to get the top 10 shootout. These are your top 10 drivers, as you can see. We have 12 minutes of Q3 out here, and Romeo, a.k.a. Mangla, is going to be also grinning from ear to ear. Of course, with the kind of times that he's been able to put in, especially earlier on in Q1, he topped the timesheets in those wet conditions. We'll see what he can do. Well, our two championship protagonists, that being Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi, and Seaclay, are the two drivers to come out, the first two drivers to come out, so we'll see what they can do. Seaclay giving this man a little bit of space. Let's give you all of the necessary info out here to make sure that we have a full picture of how Q3 goes. Now, what can he do? It's a bit of a redemption mission as far as a possible, a possible race win once again from Melo the Melo. He was getting quite comfy on the top step of the podium at the end of races. Of course, he had a fantastic run of form. What can he do now? Can he find himself back on the podium? Of course, it was a huge mistake that cost him last time out. And we'll see exactly how he fares. At the bottom of your screen, you will see that Man Ray has just joined. Man Ray for Ferrari. Of course, he was another driver that had a fantastic time on this track in last season's playoffs. This was the track that Man Ray put in a lot of hours in the simulator. Really working in the early hours of the morning, trying to make sure that he could set a fantastic time. And when push came to shove, he did. As Melo the Melo opens up that rear wing under DRS, of course, he will be the first to set a time, followed closely behind by that man, Cicle in the Ferrari. But we're watching Melo the Melo. He goes absolutely flat out through those corners, did Melo. Taken no prisoners and hits those apexes with aplomb. And how will it go this time? Now, here he comes through the braking zone. He takes it nice and cleanly, does Malusi the Malusi. Being who he is no stranger to absolutely sending it. And we'll see exactly how he fares now as he's about to go through the latter part of the second sector. Being the first driver, do not be surprised to see those purple sectors tumble and fall as he sets them. Of course, being the first driver that will set a time in this qualifying session. Purple, of course, he comes through that chicane unscathed, does Melo the Melo. It has claimed so many scalps thus far and has claimed a wing or two, but not in the case of this man, not in the case of the man hunting down that P1 spot as far as the championship is concerned. He is now staring down the start-finish straight is Melo the Melo, and he crosses the line with a 1:15.2. Cicle follows closely behind. What can you do? He crosses the line second quickest, 1:15.3. Cicle could not respond to that time, that hot lap, that absolutely insane time that Melo the Melo put. Romeo Massingo was good enough for P3 with a 1:16.056. An absolutely insane time, bettered by his teammate by a factor of about, a couple of hundredths of a second. The 86ers crossed the line. Lungs, let's see what you can do. Well, he's just begun his hot lap attempt. So instead, we're going to catch up with the S. Buddha, who has crossed the line in P3. 1:15.940 for the Aston Martin driver. Absolutely scorching, insane effort there from S. Buddha. Let's see how the rest of them fare. Seppo Temba, of course, is no stranger to lighting it up. What can he do now? He has been, of course, one of the quickest drivers in the earlier qualifying sessions. He is now making his way, of course, through the second sector. What can he do as the times are now trickling in? Of course, you can see even M. Fundo is at a time. He's in the 1:17.051 is M. Fundo. Well, Melo the Melo, Malusi the Malusi goes even better with a 1:15.257 on a set of soft tires. So Cicle is under pressure here to deliver. And we'll see exactly if Cicle can respond. Cicle is about to cross the line. We will see if he can better that. But meanwhile, we're watching this man, Seppo Temba. And it does not look like Cicle has bettered that time set by Melo the Melo. So will that be the time? Again, at the end of Q3, time will tell. Seppo Temba goes third quickest with a 1:15.9. Just 4 drivers are in the 1:15s as things stand. Absolutely insane from these drivers here. I see in the comment section there's a conversation happening about whether or not it'll be a 1 or 2 stop race. And Fundo, let's see what he can do, of course. Now remember, this is the man who, according to rumors in the paddock, he sacrificed potential sweet talking and maybe even potential cuddles to be here on race day. And Fundo was dedicated to the cause as far as keeping it locked here on race day. As far as top tier breakaway racing is concerned, he's making his way through the second sector. It's M. Fundo in the Aston Martin. He's currently in 8th place. He will want to secure his spot as high up as possible. He's no stranger, is M. Fundo, to being on the second row or even the tail end of the front row even so. We'll see what he can do. That red light is flashing. He's probably out of fuel. M. Fundo will have to come into the pits, refuel, and give it another bash. This man is also going slowly. There's a yellow flag in the sectors 1 and 2. Oh, yellow flag throughout the entire track. Hopefully it's not a glitch. Surge Gamer is asking if Brakeaway has a PC league. Currently not, Surge Gamer. We currently have a PlayStation league. But yeah, suppose further down the line, you never know what might happen. Kid K is one of our top guys as far as communication is concerned. So, hey, you never know what might happen as far as further down the line. I would have you know that the 86er, meanwhile, has crossed the line to go third quickest. The 86er currently leading the second row here in Q3. Oh, my word, 1:15.655. He is now one of 6 drivers with times across the 1 minute 15 seconds. Absolutely insane effort from the 86er. Zotal, under pressure. He currently has yet to set a time. What can he do now? He's making his way to the end of the second sector, beginning the third. What can he do? We're on board with the Red Bull driver, who has been under extreme pressure here. Let's see how he can fare. He now makes his way through the second last and now the final corner to Zotal and absolutely punches it as he opens up that rear wing and sends it down the start-finish straight. Not good enough to leave that 10th spot. It's a 1:16.247. A good time by, regular standards, but not good enough as far as the top 10 shootout is concerned. Man, Zotal in the 1 minute 16 currently. So he has his work absolutely cut out for him. If you've just joined us, you are in the middle of this qualifying session. The 86er did go third quickest. He is now back, making his way back to the pits. So we'll catch up with Mandla, aka Romeo, and see how he fares now. He's one of the 3 drivers currently on an outlap, as is of course Segway and Tsepotemba, as you can see there. So after this man, we'll catch up with Tsepotemba and see exactly how he fares here. Well, let's see how Romeo, aka Madla, will fare as he's about to begin his hot lap attempt here. Now, that rear wing is open. He is absolutely punching it down this down that initial straight. Sorry about that. Kind of skipped over. I want to get back to Romeo, see how he fares through the first sector. Man, let's see how he fares. Tapiso notes that Zotal wouldn't even have made the top 4 in Tier 2 with the time that he had just put in. Now, Mandla is about 8/10 quicker currently, so he knows there is a lot of time to make up here for Romeo. Let's see exactly if he can do so now, making his way through the second sector. And of course, this particular corner is one that has also claimed its fair share of victims throughout the time. Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi! Oh my word! 1 minute 14.934! Mello the Mello was the first driver into the 1 minute 14! We've seen Seaflake try and try, but come nowhere near close. That's 1:15.2 that Mello had set. So Mello the Mello has absolutely slapped down and laid down the marker here with an insane time as Mandla comes through the final turn. He hasn't validated, unfortunately, as Mandla. And oh my word, I absolutely lost composure. Oh my word. Absolutely lost composure there. The time that Mello had just put in an absolutely insane time that Mello the Mello Malusi had put in. Now Tsepotemba, what can you do? He opens up that rear wing. He crosses the line. Still, of course, hasn't yet improved. So he will have to go again, will Tsepotemba. Let's see exactly how some other folks are faring in their hot lap attempt. As Buddha is currently in P4 as far as this qualifying session is concerned. So what can he do? Can he be? Can he improve? Can he fight his way perhaps onto the front row? Oh man, he's got some time to make up. Mello needs to be investigated, says Kid K, barely believing that insane time that Malusi the Malusi has just slapped down on this grid with a minute of qualifying to go as Buddha crosses the line and puts himself into the second row with a 1:15.646. It is Aston Martin in the second row as Buddha. What an effort. What a time that he had put out here. Absolutely insane. Seppo Temba taking some time to take care of the grass, playing lawnmower out here in Italy as he's invalidated his time. Now, this is Josh, aka Damnesia, that will be watching. Now, Cicle is currently in P2. He's attempting to answer the absolutely insane time that Mello the Mello put in. We'll catch up with him a little bit later. Josh, Damnesia, what can you do? Charlie 3 Stats reckons that Mello the Mello is running a different battery pack to the rest of the grid. I'm not sure if that's, that would be some heck of engineering for Toxic if you're correct there. But let's see how how Damnesia fares. He's about 6/1000th of a second quicker than his previous best time. Let's see if this can translate to something better as far as the end of Sector 3 is concerned. He needs to make up so much time to Damnesia if he's to find his way in the 1:15s in a healthy spot in the 1:15s. Can he improve? He's still P8 with a 1:15.905. This Josh, aka Damnesia. So, a lot of work for him to do. Meanwhile, I would have you know, Malusi's definitely on an end lap. Cicle has gone quickest through Sector 2. Cicle has seen the gauntlet laid down by Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi. What can you do, Cicle? He spins! Cicle spins! He was absolutely sending it! Oh, he was on the final corner, was Cicle. Oh, man, he was hoping for purple, but all he can see is red right now because Cicle absolutely ruined the final part of his hot lap attempt, and he will start the race in P2. It's the pressure, says Crash in the comments. He will start the race in P2. Here's your grid. In top-tier breakaway racing, Mello the Mello tops the times with a 1:14.934, followed by Cicle and Ferrari, 1:15.3. Buddha for Aston Martin is third in the second row. And also in the second row, the 86er for Williams will start in fourth as Lunds takes fifth place and Fundo will start in sixth. We then have Seppo Temba, Josh, aka Damnesia, in eighth, Zotal is ninth, and Romeo rounds off your top 10. An absolutely insane qualifying session. I cannot wait. It's the pressure. Asan, says Ron Pipes, and Cassana says pressure. Pressure got to Cicle, says Gamma Maverick. Tyson's yo sounds educated. Well, yes, it's a yo from Wisconsin, Tapiso. Yes, I'm getting used to the South African lexicon. What did Inati say? Inati says,
wafaka amapheji weCorolla in that Mercedes Gamelo. Yeah, ile mapheji, ile mechanic yasefosloras. Ngitshelile yabo. Ngitshelile ile mechanic yasefosloras indonzana. Umele uthulile mara uyazi ukuthi uyile kule mechanic.
Well, the mechanic from Voslorus apparently is the secret sauce that Mello has been going to. Man, even Man Ray has joined us, Span Kobe has joined us, Tindo has joined us. It's a nice and healthy grid as we're about to begin the racing out here in Italy. Man, what a session we have here. TT started a gardening service, said Gamma Maverick earlier in the comment section. TT, of course, went on a lawn mowing session, and we're going to see exactly how all of this is going to pan out here. Well, that is your grid, ladies and gentlemen. As you've seen, Mello the Mello leads from Cicle, who was perhaps possibly on the verge of matching that time or even bettering it, but the final turn took Cicle out dramatically. I cannot wait. This is the only time that South Africans look forward to the lights going out, and they are out. Italy, we are racing. It is Malo the Malo leading from Seatley, and even Mfundo Spuda has stolen the march on Seatley, who has had an absolutely nightmare start. Lungs has even gained a place here as Malo the Malo leads from Spuda by a factor of about 4/10. Lungs is third. Seatley has slipped down to fourth. There's carnage. There's wings being donated. I'm trying to get a sense of who lost the wings there. I saw some parts flying, but I want to get back to the scrap of the lead here. It is Malo the Malo leading this race. What an insane start after an absolutely insane qualifying session. He leads this race from Espuda by a factor of 7/10 before we even get to the end of the second sector. Malo the Malo, Malusi the Malusi, Mercedes the Mercedes. What an insane start. In lap 1 of 32, he absolutely leads this race. What an absolutely insane start. It's 8/10 now, and the gap between P2 and 3 is a second already. Look at those moves. Mfundo, nightmare. He has lost 8 places. We're going to catch up with him and see exactly if he's the one that donated some wings to Imola here. And as we get to the end of this first lap, we'll get a sense of exactly who was involved in that carnage. I was trying to give you a sense of the people that were able to take advantage of the race start, but as you can see, Mfundo, 10th places that he's dropped now, as Malo the Malo crosses the line first, followed by Esbuda by a factor of 1.7 seconds before the end of the first lap. Man, well, this is what it looks like from Esbuda's perspective. As right now, I'm going to give you the tires, as of course Mfundo and Man Ray, having had incidents in that first lap, are going to make their way back here. An absolutely insane start, but already there is a hell of a scrap going on for P8 spot. It is Selby right on the rear wing of level here in the Haas. What I start by Mello, you're saying in the comment section. I'm going to come back to the comment section in a second. Selby kind of takes a peek on the inside of level, but not quite getting that move now. He is not close enough. It's Selby Songo. He will have to bide his time. Meanwhile, in P4, Sinkley, who will be kicking himself. He was hoping to be fighting for the race lead, and right now, he's fighting for a podium place in lap 2 of 32 out here in Monza. This is what it looks like from his perspective. He is hunting down Lungs of the Alpine, and I would have you know that Lungs will not make it easy for him. They're both running soft compound tires, and of course, Lungs being the third best driver as far as the points are concerned, will not make it easy at all. But of course, this being the third lap, we will soon see DRS come into effect. He comes into the slipstream down Seaplay. He goes on the inside, and he gets that move done. And he is currently in third spot. Lungs will have to fight back somehow and hope to reclaim that spot. Now, remember, I did tell you that gap which has been building between P1 and P2. It's a factor of about 2.3 seconds. Esbuda will not be panicking right now because he has, of course, those medium tires. So his first tire stint will be much longer than Melo the Melo and even Seaclay perhaps. So he will bide his time with Esbuda, and he will make sure that he is there to capitalize a little bit later on. The 86er, who started off in the second row, also lost some spots. He finds himself in sixth spot currently. He is having the fight of his life against Josh, aka Damnesia. This is what it looks like from his perspective. Let's hop on board here. Josh absolutely getting a clean exit out of that corner, and now comes into the chicane. Ooh, the 86er was a little bit rough on the curbs there. Josh, once again, getting a clean exit, and stretches that gap now to about almost 8/10. It was, of course, about 3/10 when we hopped on board with this man, the 86er. So, a lot of work for him to do, as that gap is now extending to about a second. Melo the Melo leading this race. He is out in clean air. And he did set the previous best lap, which was bested by Seaclay, who has been hunting down Spuda. He goes on the outside, and he gets that move done on Seaclay. He now is in P2, and of course he is back where he started this race. Right now, he will be absolutely livid, kicking himself for that poor race start, and will be looking to fight tooth and nail to get to within DRS of Melo the Melo, Malusi the Malusi. But 3 seconds is a lot of time to make up when you're talking about this man who has been in absolutely insane form on recent times. Now, Broad Boy in the comments, that would be Sampto if I'm not mistaken, saying, yo, Seaclay is on the hunt. Seaclay is flying as usual, says S. Lindo in the comment section. Seaclay is on the hunt, says William Paola. Yes, absolutely on the hunt. He will give nothing away. Someone else is on the hunt, I would have you know, is this man, Loveness, who is chasing down Enlebo currently. And as you can see, he was kind of taking a peek on the inside of that hat. He didn't quite get that move done there. And Crash reckons that P2 is as far as he can go. Crash has absolute faith in Mellow the Mellow, Malusi the Malusi, whose gap has currently stands at about 3.1 seconds. Now, can Loveness get this move done on Enlebo as Seekley sets the fastest time with a 1:18.1? Well, we will see. Of course, he's using his battery here. Enlebo's battery, meanwhile, is flashing. And as that rear ring opens up, the Williams will go on the outside of Enlebo and gets that move done nice and cleanly into the braking zone. Nice and clean. Loveness finds himself in P9 comfortably. Further up the grid, it is a possible DRS train from Damnesia all the way perhaps here to Seppo Temba, depending on how things pan out here. Now, what can he do? Lungs is putting the pressure on the McLaren driver, but he himself, remember, is under pressure from the following Williams of the 86er, as Van Kobe all the way out in P16 sets a fastest time there, as you saw at the top of the screen a second ago. Now, as Loveness is hunting down Selby, he's racked up a time penalty, but can Lungs get this move done on Johnson A. Damnesia? Well, he comes through this curve unscathed. He's unscathed. Oh, man. Charlie Stacks reckons that in Italy, we will have at least one safety car, so that might change race conditions here. As William says, Sifa will need Mello to make a mistake, or for someone to pull a Latifi. That gap is too much. Well, he's currently bridging it. It's hovering right at the brink of the 3-second mark, as Lungs has lost some margin to Josh, aka Damnesia. What can you do here, 86er? You've got DRS. He's inching closer. He goes on the outside. Can he get this move done? Ooh, almost. He backs out there, does the 86er. He does not want to take unnecessary risks. Remember, the 86er chasing down Lungs. He now has this man, Seppo Temba, breathing down his neck. Seppo Temba also been one of the form drivers in the championship, as Damnesia has overtaken Lungs here. Oh, man, Lungs losing so much ground. He lost so much ground to Lungs. Mistakes are costing Lungs. And now he has the absolute fight in his hand. Josh, aka Damnesia, finds himself on a podium spot, about 5 seconds behind Seekley, who was hunting down Malusi the Malusi. And this is what it looks like. We have a virtual safety car currently. It could be a situation of some debris buildup on track. Virtual safety car, the drivers have to slow down their pace to about 40% of race pace. And there's no overtaking under virtual safety car, which ends as a DRS is enabled once again. What is happening in the comment section now? Charlie 3 Stacks says, if Mello can see his tires, Seaplay has been in 2 fights, definitely. His tires are wearing out more than Mello the Mellows. That is a good point that Charlie 3 Stacks mentioned. Of course, Seaplay has been fighting his way to get back up here. He has absolutely been pushing it. And this gap that we've been starting to see shrink a little bit could be a case of Mello the Mellow preserving his tire life, knowing that Seekley, on the other hand, is absolutely sending it. So it could be Mello the Mellow playing the long game here, allowing Seekley to get to within a sniff, but not necessarily to within DRS. Now, as you can see on the bottom left of your screen, Seekley has been fairly circumspect, fairly level-headed with his use of the battery. It's at 70% currently, while Mello the Mellow has had to preserve his lead. Of course, being at the front of the grid, he does not have the advantage of the DRS, of course, so his battery has been used fairly sparingly as well. As he deploys it a little bit now, it is hovering in the low 60% to high 50s, as you can see. Mello the Mellow has had an absolutely stellar qualifying session and currently is leading this race with absolute aplomb. From Seaflay in P2, Josh, aka Damnesia, has taken full advantage of the mistakes by Lungs, who is in P4 currently. The 86er has been hunting down these top runners and finds himself in P5 currently, as Ban Kobe, in his fight back attempt, racks up a time penalty by a factor of 3 seconds. Now, 86er is right on the tail of Lungs, as you can see over here. He wasn't quite close enough to get that overtake done in lap 8 of 32, but what can he do now? He'll have to bide his time, of course. There's not exactly a DRS zone coming up anytime soon, so the 86er will definitely have to hang in there and clutch on to with the DRS zone of Lungs. As Buddha, of course, who started off the race so well, has slipped all the way to P8. So yeah, he's been having a nightmare start. Oh, he goes quite heavy on the curbs. Does the 86er perhaps reacting to Lungs going wide? Is Lungs starting to feel the pressure? Well, the 86er will be licking his lips and hoping so as they both come through those curves unscathed. Tempo Temba, remember, is also chasing down the 86er, but he's hanging on for dear life to cling on to that, to stay within DRS. The 86er crosses the detection line and will have DRS, as will Tempo Temba, remember. Now, what will that mean at the end of lap 9? He opens up that rear wing and goes, of course, they're side by side. He has gone through. Oh no, oh has he? They're side by side, but will he get through cleanly? Yes, he does. He does, and now, Tempo Temba is your problem, says the 86er to Lungs. And now it is an 86er hunting down Josh, aka Damnesia. And the gap there is about 7/10. Mello is just a shark, says Charlie 3 Stacks, because that gap has been re-established at about 3.4 seconds. What an insane start, and what an incredibly measured, accomplished, absolutely level-headed drive here from Mello the Mellow. Now, Kaboza, a little bit further down, is hunting down Enlebo, who's also been slowly, surely slipping down the pecking order here, as Zotao sets a fastest time. Of course, he's hasn't had the best of races. He currently finds himself all the way at the back of this grid here now. We'll watch Kaboza and how he fares. There's a yellow flag here. Well, Loveness made that quite easy for Enlebo, who overtook him without much fuss here. And Kaboza will be hoping for similar luck here. Is that a spot of rain that I'm seeing? That might be a spot of rain. So we could be having an absolutely dramatic middle part of this race here, as we see as Buddha coming into the pits. Will he opt for a set of intermediate tires this early? That was definitely a spot of rain that I was seeing from that perspective. And the track is definitely not wet enough. But as Buddha pulls the trigger first, he has opted for those intermediate tires well before the tire is probably wet enough to do so. Those intermediate tires, of course, for wet conditions. But Tindo follows suit, I suppose, as Buddha and Tindo, currently sitting in P13 and 14, say, you know what? We have nothing to lose. We may as well roll the dice. What will the race leaders do here? Let's catch up with, it looks like Josh, aka Damnesia, is fighting with the 86er, but these men, the race leaders, are currently closest to the pits. Will they come in now, or will they push even further and bide their time that way? Mello the Mellow does not pit. He opts to stay out even longer. Seaflay follows suit. He does not come into the pit. 86er also says, no, the track is way too dry, as does Josh, as does Lungs, and Seppo Temba. Selby Sango, did he think about it? Not necessarily. He carries on. The track is not yet wet enough for us to take on those intermediate tires. Now, of course, in these conditions, while the track isn't quite wet enough, these guys, as Buddha, Tindo, and Mfundo, these tires are at risk of overheating completely, because, of course, these tires are not designed to be running in dry weather conditions. Although the weather is sort of trickling down, it is nowhere near wet enough to be optimizing those intermediate tire conditions. Now, this is another fight that we have been watching fairly closely. It is Josh, aka Damnesia, who dispatched of Lungs a little bit earlier, and now he is hunting down the 86er, who finds himself in a podium spot. What a day that would be, as Tempo Temba, chasing Lungs, racks up a 3-second time penalty. So, could we see drivers start to slip and slide here in these intermediate tire conditions? Well, time will tell. Time will tell. Mello the Mellow, C-Clay, the 86er, they had not opted for those to come to the pits. C-Clay also, not yet. It's too early. Even the 86er reckons it's too early. Josh, aka Damnesia, DRS is still enabled. The stewards have yet to disable DRS, so the conditions aren't yet perilous enough for them to deem it dangerous as far as DRS is concerned. And he did have DRS, but was not close enough to get that overtake done. It is an absolute scrap, a total fight between Damnesia and the 86er here, who are both hanging on for dear life. The track is dry, says Kid K. Yes, and would you look at that? Seppo Temba has come into the pit, and he said, well, now is the time for me to go onto these intermediate tires. Seaflay is hunting, says William. Man Ray crashes out. Man Ray has crashed out of this race. A safety car is out. The safety car comes out in Italy. Oh, man. Absolutely brilliant timing as far as the race leaders are concerned. And if conditions are to get rainier, then this would be the perfect opportunity to come into the pits, possibly for those intermediate tires, especially with the safety car that is due to go around for at least a few laps. Man Ray, who had an absolute blinder here during the playoffs, has crashed out. He becomes the first driver that we have lost here on this field. Seaflay comes into the pits. Loveness and Mandela have had a hell of a collision. Let's see what their cars look like. And Loveness racked up that time penalty instead. Let's see what Loveness's car condition looks like. Did he lose a wing? Well, it doesn't look like it. They had a hell of a collision. The top five have all come to the pits. And, well, would you look at that? Mellow the Mellow and Seaflay have opted to remain on a set of soft compound tires. And the 86er has opted to stick also with a pair of slicks, while Lungs and Josh, aka Damnesia, become the only two drivers in the top five, opting for those intermediate tires. Well. As things stand, only the top three have those slick tires, as Zotao was speeding under safety car, so his nightmare of a race has also seen him rack up a time penalty. That is absolutely, bizarre. Balls of steel, says Crash in the comments. Man, Josh Damnesia is also in intermediate tires. Everybody barred the top three, and perhaps even Bad Kobe, depending on what he does out there in P13. Everyone is on a pair of intermediate tires. We can only assume that these top three are hoping to build a hell of a gap in these semi-dry conditions, and then, build enough of a gap to be able to come in and take advantage by the time the track is wet enough for those intermediate tires to be in optimum condition. Man, that is absolutely, absolutely insane choice here from the top three runners. Would you look at that? The track is definitely greasy. Like Brown Boy saying in the comments, it's so risky what these guys are doing in the top three. But hey, man, these are the championship leaders as far as the top two are concerned. Crash reckons the mediums were a good call by the 86er. And as we make our way under safety car, Mello relents. Oh, man. As the Seaflay, the 86er. We can only assume that this was then a huge mistake on their part, and they're absolutely regretting it now. Oh, man. This race was totally in their control, but now they find themselves in the midfield. Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi, Seaflay 86er. They have absolutely shanked it. They bottled it. That's what we say. UK, they bottled it. No, they had the race lead possibly, but they fumbled it. They bottled it. The top three fumbled. That's what William Palace says. Oh, man. What's Ben Kobe doing on slicks? Well, Ben Kobe thought he would also play the risque card, and he's probably going to have to come back himself. Finds himself in P10 right now. But no, this track is nowhere near good enough for slick tires currently. So, having fumbled the lead, that being Mello the Mello, Seaflay, and the 86er, leads in Italy for Alpine, and he is flanked or followed by his teammate, Seppo Temba. It is an Alpine 1-2 in lap 14 of 32. out here in Italy. Let's go Alpines, says Crash in the comment section. Josh, aka Damnesia, finds himself in a podium spot today. What a day it would be for Josh if things would end up the way that they currently are. Remember, Josh is currently on 33 points, just 15 championship points for the McLaren driver. So what a day possibly for him. Equally, Selby, what a day would be for him. Selby currently is an automatic relegation spot in 19th place in the championship. So he would be primed for a absolutely beautiful points finish today. He currently sits in P4 as Romeo Madla sits in P6. Nebo is currently in 7th place as the safety car makes another revolution. Caboza has recovered to 7th place. Loveness finds himself in 8th, but remember, he has all those penalties to contend with. S. Buddha, who had a nightmare start to his race, finds himself in 9th. Remember, S. Buddha was one of the first drivers to roll the dice and opt for those intermediate tires. So if it wasn't for the safety car, really S. Buddha could have been running possibly even much higher up, considering the rest of the grid. Considering the time that the rest of the grid opted for those intermediate tires. Ban Kobe has opted for the stubborn approach. He has opted for he's still on medium tires, surprisingly. Tindo is in 11th spot on those inters. And of course, Mello the Mellow, Cicle, and the 86er are absolutely frowning. They're absolutely seething in P11, 12, rather P13, P12, 13, and 14, respectively. Zotal, who has had a nightmare of a race, is currently in 15th spot, and M. Fundo is at the back of the grid. Man. Now, Charlie 3 Stacks reckons that Damnesia has the pace to get past both Alpines. Well, time will tell. We will look forward to that. Josh can absolutely turn it on his day. The safety car is coming in. As a brown boy wonders if Damnesia could spit the Alpines. Jeff is a Ferrari strategist, except Tabiso. Tabiso reckons that the drivers hardly ever listen to Jeff. You're actually better off with your own strategy. Of course, Jeff being the race engineer in-game race engineer for F1 2021. The safety car is going in, and as you can see, Lungs is backing them up, followed by his teammates, as Crash notes that the Alpines are masterminds. Now, we've seen these guys put on absolutely insane teamwork, and it looks like he's sending it, absolutely sending it. Oh, Tempo Tempa has spun out. He spun out. What happened to Tempo Tempa? Oh, man, he lost the wing and crashed out. Has Tempo Tempa. He's still in the race. He's crashed, but he's absolutely lost ground there, as Josh is absolutely hunting down Lungs now. They were hoping to take full advantage of the restart with the Alpines, but TT absolutely lost the plot there. It could have been a dream 1-2 scenario, but now Tempo will have to fight his way from the back of the grid. And, of course, Lungs currently leads this race from this man, Josh, a.k.a. Damnesia, who has a hell of a fight on his hands in lap 16 of 32. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? We're basically the halfway point of this race, and it's been such a dramatic race as far as the change of the lead and tire strategies and weather conditions has been concerned. Josh, now, can he catch up? Well, he's about 8/10 now. That gap was more than a second, but Josh has managed to bridge that gap. That red light is flashing, of course, in these conditions. That red light could also be for the sake of safety conditions, allowing the drivers to see the driver that they're following. But Josh has made up an insane amount of time, basically half the deficit that he had at the beginning when he was chasing Lungs here. So Josh looking like he's definitely much more comfortable as far as traction and corner exits is concerned. That gap now 7/10 for the race lead between Josh and Lungs. And that battery had been charged all the way up to 100% for Josh as he comes, takes a peek on the outside of Lungs here. And will he be close enough to get that move done? Perhaps not necessarily, but he inches closer and closer, 2/10 now, as they come into this chicane. Zotal has retired. Zotal is out of the race, bringing out the safety car for the second time in this race. Zotal, who has had a nightmare today has crashed out in Imola. An absolute nightmare. Josh may win this race, reckons Charlie Three Stacks. Crash says Zotal doesn't practice anymore because he's always drinking with Teps. Well, Tapiso, is that true? Oh man, Zotal is out. Zotal saved lungs. Tapiso reckons we need to bully Zotal in the comment section again. Of course, Zotal was roasted mercilessly in the comments and responded to that by finishing on the podium in a subsequent race. TT with a drive-through penalty. Well, let's take a look at that particular detail. Yeah, he does have a drive-through penalty. Oh, man. Zoe Hamilton says Kid K. Oh, man. Drive-through penalty for Zotal. He will, or rather for Teppo Temba. Oh, man, it started off so well. It could have been a 1-2 for Alpine, but Zotal had a nightmare restart. Zero traction, presumably, or he could have been hit. We're actually going to find out for him at a later stage. But Josh, aka Damnesia, is currently in P2. And would you know, Selby Sango in the Alpha Tauri is absolutely licking his lips. What a day for him in the Alpha Tauri. He finds himself in P4. Romeo Massingo, aka Mandla. What a day for McLaren's possibly today. If this man could even fight for a podium spot and make it a double McLaren, double podium for McLaren. Is that possible? Can Romeo do it in these conditions? Well, time will tell. Capoza is in P5, an absolutely stellar result for him in the context of the season if he can maintain. Loveness has racked up a 3-second time penalty, but finds himself in P6 as things stand. The Williams driver. I would have you know that Loveness is absolutely comfortable in these conditions. We have seen him put on an absolute clinic. We've seen Loveness in previous races and previous seasons. I remember a race in Austria last season where Loveness had a set of intermediate tires and he absolutely stretched them for an absolutely long amount of time. So look out for Loveness in the Williams driver towards the end of this race here, if conditions stay as they are. And Lebo is currently in P7. Can he recover here and finds himself even higher in the points position? Time will tell. That's Buddha, who started off high up the grid, but found himself slipping and sliding, finds himself in 8th place so far. Tindo is in 9th place. Today he's commandeered the Ferrari, which usually belongs to Man Ray. And Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi, Mercedes and the Mercedes, Fumbler the Fumbler as far as tire strategy is concerned, finds himself in P10. It could have been a dream race win for Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi, but that tire strategy, man, now they find themselves having to fight their way back up this grid. But hey, at least it's the safety car, so maybe they might be able to claw their way past some of their contenders. But this is Tier 1, it will not be easy. Segway finds himself still chasing the shadows of Mello the Mello, is in P11 in that Ferrari. The 86er was in a podium place, was in Dreamland, but finds himself in 12th place currently. And Fundo in the Aston Martin is currently in 13th place. Remember Fundo, I would have you know, he's the man who sacrificed sweet talks and potential cuddles to be racing here today, but finds himself in P13. So he's probably thinking, well, he could have been deep within the cuddles instead of P13.
I think Gubunyana tickets hit I think maybe Amaz, maybe code or stamp Yanebo. Acha Kali. I'm selling a man, the boy who Pegaman to P13. I couldn't see him for the Mara. Or maybe Angabuy. Maybe Angabuy, maybe you can come back. Well, and Fundo will be hoping for a recovery here, as Britox says he could have been enjoying a bowl of Magodu and Samp in these in South African winter conditions. But Bankobi is currently in 14th place, and Teppo Temba rounds up the back of the grid here in P15. Lungs is your race leader. We saw what he could do with the previous race start, and well, can he take advantage again? He won't have the luxury of a teammate behind him this time around. Well, we'll see what can happen this time around. Zotal needs a sermon. Zotal needs a prayer. Mispano, perhaps I can light some candles, and I don't know what hymns are sung, and for Zotal to be able to catch up to the rest of the grid. Last season it was Somlandela
Somlandela usihle lapho eyakhona Somlandela. Well, what will it be this time? Of course, Zotal, we do commiserate with you. He is currently in the paddock, currently kicking himself. I'm told that Zotal has turned off the music in the Red Bull garage, and he is looking over the data already. Man, looks like he'll need cuddles after this race, says Mike. Well, we'll see how it all pans out. Crash asked, can someone record Zotal getting out of his race seat early? Well, time will tell. The safety car has gone in. What can Lungs do with the race restart here? And he sends it. He punches that battery. He has Josh on his tail. Josh has not been caught napping. He is almost side by side. Can he go side by side? Get Josh. Oh, he's almost on his tail. He is on the back of that Aston Martin. They're almost side by side. They are side by side. Josh is the inside line, but he cannot get that move done into that first turn. Lungs holds his nerve, holds his guard, holds on to P1. Selby Sango is there and thereabouts. Don't forget about him. He's in P3 currently. This is the perspective from Josh, aka Damnesia. What a race restarted was from him. Lungs absolutely held his nerve there. He said, I will not give it to you easily. You will not pass. You shall not pass. Lungs channeling Gandalf, but Josh, aka Damnesia, is in the orange reminiscent of the Balrog in the caves of Moria, if you're familiar with the Lord of the Rings. But right now, it's the Lord of the Purple Sectors, possibly, if Lungs can take the fastest lap time here. We will see what he can do. Oh, he has a bit of a slide there, as I'm making sure that I show you all the tire info. Loveness keeps on racking up the time penalties. It's a time penalty shootout as far as Loveness is concerned. What can Josh Damnesia do as they come through the chicane? He takes it cleanly. Soapy Sango is hanging on for dear life, but he is staying in touch with the top three as Josh goes on the outside of Lungs. There's contact, but none of them lose their place as far as getting off track. Oh, as I say that, Josh makes a mistake and goes a little bit off track. They're side by side going into the final corner. It's Josh in the lead from Lungs. He has reclaimed the lead. Josh has fought his way into the race lead in Imola. Selby Sango says, Lungs, whatever you can do, I can do even better. Side by side with Lungs they go. Lungs is hanging on for dear life. He is sandwiched in between some McLarens here as he finds himself in P3 with a race restart. Let's go, Mindlo. Who finds himself in P5, I would have you know. He was absolutely fighting, was Selby Sango with Lungs over there. There was contact, but Josh, aka Damnesia, has now find himself in the lead here in Imola, in Italy, in lap 21 of 32. 11 laps to go. Can Josh hold on with 7-lap-old intermediate tires in absolutely treacherous conditions? It's all happening for the top 5, says Nkasana in the comments. But this man, Selby Sango, is absolutely sending it, pushing Josh Damnesia as far as he can. Look at the race conditions. There are puddles all over here. They're going to have to make sure they stick to the racing line as Josh has a bit of a snap there through that chicane. The race conditions are getting absolutely wetter. And as I say that, Tindo out in P14 has nothing to lose. He has opted for a set of wet tires. So we will see what Tindo can do as far as lap times are concerned. If Tindo, of course, can find himself in a proper scrap with the people around him and find himself clawing his way up the grid, then there could be a case for switching tires here and opting for those wet tires here. What a battle for the race lead it was earlier. It is Selby Sango who finds himself hunting down Josh, aka Damnesia, in lap 22 of 32. 10 laps to go here in Italy in absolutely treacherous conditions. Mfundo, aka Mr. No Cuddling on Tuesday, has opted for a set of wet tires, as has Ban Kobe. Of course, those men, being out of the points, have absolutely nothing to lose here, and they're going to see what they can do. Those wet patches on the sides of the track can be absolutely treacherous as Josh, aka Damnesia, builds a gap here. If you hit those wet patches, of course, you could find yourself absolutely struggling for grip and for traction, and in worst case conditions find yourself aquaplaning and going off track. What a scrap it was earlier. Let's see how this man, Sikle, can do in his fight against S. Buddha. Of course, these were the men who were in contention for the possible race win. Selby Sango in his fight has racked up a time penalty. Mello the Mello dispatched of his Buddha a little bit earlier, and now Sikle wants to get back to within... Oh, there's a car which went off a little bit there. It looks like Mello the Mello. He went past this Buddha, but he went off track. Mello the Mellow spun out, but he has somehow kept his car. It was a dreamy qualifying, a dreamy race start, but it's a nightmare now, as Loveness is hunting down Selby Songo. He is right on his gearbox, it is, and he is absolutely sending it here, looking to steal a march on the AlphaTauri. Selby Songo easing it. Selby Songo has a bit of a snap there. He has to recover his car, as Loveness is absolutely giving him nothing to breathe, no room to breathe. William kind of lamenting that fumble from Mello the Mellow earlier on. Selby goes wide. Loveness can sniff a possible overtake here, but not this time, says Loveness here. Out here, Mello. Mello is absolutely struggling, as some of you have noted in the comments. We're going to see if Selby can fight his way back to within within DRS of Josh Aka Amnesia, but Selby has bigger fish to fry, and that fish is this man. Loveness, he absolutely is fighting with the rear end of that car with, as we had lap 23 laps out of 32 out here in Italy. It has been an absolutely dramatic, intense, insane race out here in Italy, out here in Imola, as we watch Loveness whose struggles with traction have seen him lose some ground to Selby Songo over here. So Selby and the AlphaTauri will be breathing. A sigh of relief. Another snap over here. Loveness really struggling to hold that car together. A little bit further down in P5, it is Enlevel fighting with Capoza, who goes into the pits, and he gets that move done. So Capoza on 10-lap old intermediate tires. Perhaps he's opting, yes, for a set of wet compound tires as Capoza. Meanwhile, the 86er is back behind Ciclay here, and Mello the Mellow, who was leading the former top three, is now hunting down the other members of the former top three, that being Ciclay and the 86er. And let's see what this man, 86er, can do, chasing Ciclay. Now, the 86er is also no stranger to putting in a decent shift in wet weather conditions. Lungs' nightmare continues as the 86er snaps a little bit there and loses ground to Ciclay. Lungs is racking up time penalties now, and he is also on a set of wet compound tires in P9. Mfundo! In these conditions, Mfundo DNFs. He crashes out of this race as Mfundo. He will be absolutely livid, kicking himself. Perhaps the cuddles can begin a little bit earlier, Mfundo. We commiserate with you. He is out. Mfundo becomes the third driver to crash out here in Italy, bringing out the safety car for the third time in this race. Now, Josh, aka Damnesia, leads this race, and as you can see, the gap between the front three and the rest is fairly significant, but they're all going to have to slow down. Will he come in? Yes, he will. Josh, aka Damnesia, in these absolutely treacherous conditions. It is absolutely raining cats and dogs. It is pouring, and he will opt for those wet compound tires. Now, looks like most of the top runners will be doing the same. So Josh will be thanking his lucky stars that as and he might not lose the lead of the race. Now, this driver, Lungs, was the foremost of the drivers who were not going to pit, and of course he was not nearly far enough to be able to fight for the race lead or reclaim the race lead. But of course he has taken advantage of all those places thanks to everybody pitting and Lungs. Now, even though he has that penalty, remember, oh man, 5 seconds. Oh man, that is significant. That is a lot of time in lap 25 and 32. 5 seconds worth of penalties. That will definitely come back to bite him when it comes to the final timings of the race. Look at that. The rain is absolutely insane here. And look at all those wet patches on the track. If you take too many liberties with those wet patches, you could, of course, lose tracks and find yourself aquaplaning, as they say, and slipping and sliding, going off track, mowing the lawn, as we saw TT doing in the qualifying session. Now, after the safety car has come out and after the majority of the grid has pitted, your grid currently is as follows. Josh, aka Damnesia, is having an absolute dream of a race, and he will be hanging on for dear life, hoping that he can take full advantage, and of course, hoping that he does not rack up a time penalty, because as things stand, everybody from P2 to P6 would not necessarily challenge Josh, thanks to those penalties, if Josh can stay within a minimum of 3 seconds, of course. Josh leads this race from this man, Selby Sango, who is having a dream race considering the context of his season. Loveness finds himself in P3 in the Williams here. What a dramatic race he's had. Lungs, who was leading the race, had a hell of a scrap, a hell of a fight, hell of a battle with Damnesia and Selby Sango some time ago, finds himself in P4. Romeo, aka Mandla, is now in P5 in the other McLaren, and Bebo for Haas is currently in 6th place. That's Buddha, finds himself in P7 currently, and he will have to contend with this man, the championship leader, Sikle, who is unforgiving if you make a mistake while he is chasing you. The Ferrari is currently in P8. Gabuza has had a fairly quiet race, but finds himself in the points in P9 currently. And Fundo has left the session, presumably to get warm in these conditions, and perhaps get a snuggle or a cuddle. Well, commiserations, Fundo, commiserations, Zotal, and Manray. Those the two drivers we have lost. The 86er will be kicking himself, as will be Melo the Mello, who finds himself out of the points. P11 for Melo the Mello. He is now flanked by his teammate Van Kobe in 12th place. Seppo Temba and Tindo round off the remaining drivers in this race. Just 14 drivers left in lap 26 of 32 in absolutely treacherous conditions in Italy. We're almost at the point where I would like to canvass your opinions for driver of the day. I will check in possibly in lap 30. I would love to hear you. Charlie 3 Stacks is cheering on Mandla. And Ron Pipes reckons, oh no, M. Fundo experiencing karma for saying no to cuddles. Oh man. Well, he's got time now to cuddle with his significant other. The safety car is in this lap. And we will see exactly what can be done here at the race restart.
As in, Ocho supply, the way Alan lose Macona Mara. I can now be a Corolla, so Nalepage le Corolla. So someone if so was who we win at dating. I see someone. Josh fast.
Indeed, Josh is fast, yes, as per talks. Selby Sango with fire emojis reckons Luddy in the comment section. He's had an absolutely fantastic race. Now, we've seen Lungs have fantastic race starts. What can Josh do? He absolutely sends it, stretching that gap to about 6/10 as Selby fights off Loveness, who will probably look to take a bite out of that P2 spot. Before the first turn, he takes a look, but he does not get a sniff. Selby Sango defends. Selby defends, and Loveness will have to fight another time as the 86 are further down. Overtakes the likes of Caboza. Caboza has had a mistake and he's slipping and sliding down this grid. Yellow flag in sector 1, presumably for Caboza, who finds himself rooted at that first corner, as you can see on the track map. And the yellow flag is gone. It is Josh Damnesia leading this race from Selby Sango by a factor of about 6/10. Loveness is even closer behind the AlphaTauri, just 3/10 between these two. And Lung really struggling in these winter conditions. Oh, Selby Sango opts to mow the lawn, inspecting the grass with Selby over there. Absolutely, but he does not lose his card, thankfully. He'll be counting his lucky stars, and you'll be absolutely lucky that this man, Loveness, did not overtake. Loveness showing a little bit of love, a little bit of mercy to Selby Sango there, perhaps. It was, of course, a little mistake over there from Selby, but he hangs on. He's hanging on to P2. What happened to Sikle? Good question, because Sikle finds himself in P11. He fell behind Van Kobe and Melo the Mello. So, Sikle had a huge mistake in his fight-back attempt, presumably, or it could have been a crash. We will catch up with him as we try to see exactly how this battle for the top 3 places is going to go. Loveness is absolutely milking what is left of his ERS. His battery is down to about, it's hovering in the 60, even early 70% mark. And will he get this move done? He's not close enough to get that overtake done on Selby Sango now, possibly. Seppo Temba, ooh! I thought he was about to overtake Sikle, but he takes some liberties as far as track limits are concerned. September is still on those intermediate tires, 11 lap old, as is Tindo. Caboza presumably might have lost the wing. That's why he came into the pits. Caboza is now at the back of this grid. Ciclé, oh Ciclé, what happened? Where, oh where has the Ferrari gone? I wonder exactly what happened to Ciclé and how he ended up in this spot. Meanwhile, Tindo is on the verge of overtaking September, whose dream race has turned into an absolute nightmare out here in Italy. We will see exactly if he will be able to get this move done. It is a Tindo. He is an Alfa Romeo driver who has commandeered a Ferrari today. Meanwhile, up at the top, Loveness has managed to get the overtake on Selby Sango. Selby held on as long as he could, but not for long enough. And Selby now has to contend with the specter of Lungs, who is now hunting down the AlphaTauri. Loveness finds himself in a potential podium spot, but remember, penalties will come into play. Yellow flag in Sector 3. Not exactly what that is about, but this is what it looks like from Selby's perspective. We're in lap 39 of 32. Who has been your driver of the day? These are the penultimate laps. We are almost at the end of this race. I would love to hear who you reckon has been the top driver in our top tier of breakaway racing. Loveness goes wide. Will Selby capitalize? He's got about 80% worth of battery power left. Now, when we were on board with Loveness, we saw Selby go wide and go a little bit off track. Now we're on board with Selby. We've seen Loveness make a mistake and go slightly wide as Caboza racks up a time penalty. The conditions are absolutely treacherous. Full wet tire racing conditions. The rain has been pouring throughout most of the second half, the latter part of this race. Loveness goes wide, but Selby was not able to capitalize here. William reckons that D'Amnesia, Josh, is the driver of the day. Of course, Josh leads this race, and he has not even racked up a single time penalty. He has kept it clean. We did see, of course, that issue, that fight, that scrap with Lungs, but as far as track limit incursions, Josh has not racked up a time penalty here. Loveness went slightly wide through that final corner, that second last corner. Josh's driver of the day, Mr. Norwich, reckons Mike Banda. These driver of the day votes trickling in, and interesting to see your thoughts. Here comes Mindlow for the McLaren. He's hunting down Lungs into the first turn. He takes a peek, but it does not get that move done. He's right on his tail, is Mandla rather, as we watch Selby going wide from the viewpoint of Romeo out here in P5. Absolutely dramatic last couple of laps here from these drivers, scrapping it out, fighting it out for these podium places. Crash asks to see the penalties. Oh, and look at that, Loveness, 9 seconds worth of penalties. He will definitely possibly not find himself in the podium. Romeo goes side by side with Lungs, and will he get that move done? Lungs says, no, not today, not on my watch. And Lungs hangs on to P4 by the skin of his teeth in the Alpine. It is an absolute fight back by Lungs to make sure that he does not lose his place here. You've noted rightly, Charlie 3 Stacks, that this man, Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi, has been having an absolute stellar fight back into the point positions here compared to the likes of the 86er, who's following closely in P8. But we're going to catch up with him soon because Mello the Mello has just overtaken Esbuda. Actually, it looks like Esbuda is tumbling down the grid. Mello can get podium here, says Brown Boy, taking into account the time penalties. Well, we will soon begin the penultimate lap, and right now it is the McLaren of Mandla absolutely milking that battery power. He will go on the outside of Lungs, and he will get the move down. They make a little bit of contact, but Mandla, goes wide, goes off track, and will they touch again? No, not in this instance. Lungs, somehow, by the skin of his teeth, is hanging on. Mandla is absolutely insane in his fight against Lungs here. Now, and Levo is looking to take a bite of the 86ers position now. The 86er running out in P7. We are on the penultimate lap. One more lap after this to go. And we will see if Josh, aka DM Nisha, can hang on for a fantastic race win possibly here today. Oh, we've seen Josh in previous seasons lose and fumble from a good position, but not this time, he will be hoping. Mello will be P3, says Crash, taking into account all those penalties. Look at that. Loveness currently on 9 seconds, Selby Sango and Romeo are on 3 seconds, and Lunds has 5 seconds worth of time penalty. Now, this scrap between Enlebo and the 86er, will it come into play? Not necessarily in this chicane, not now, not in this instance, not on my watch, says the 86er. Who is really somehow managing to keep Enlebo at bay here. And of course, the 86er himself has fallen about 4 seconds behind Mello the Malusi, who is having an absolute insane fight back here, clawing his way up this grid, and will take full advantage of these time penalties that the other drivers have racked up here. He has kept it clean, has Mello the Mello, and bar some mistakes as far as tire strategy and pitting is concerned, he has had an absolutely stellar race. It could have been a memorable race win here for Mello the Mello, but not this time around, thanks to that strategy and pitting, of course, muck up, if you will. Now, we are on board with the race leader, Josh, aka Damnesia, who had a hell of a fight on his hand. He fought his way into Q3, of course, qualifying at the last minute into that top 10 shootout. But now, in the latter part of this race, in the final quarter of this race, he found himself with the fight of his life versus Lungs. They made a little bit of contact at the race restart when Lungs was trying to steal a march on the rest of the grid, but Josh, aka Damnesia, has kept things absolutely pristine towards the tail end of this race here, and the McLaren driver, as things stand, makes his way through the second last corner, through the final corner. It has been a clinic of defensive driving and a recovery drive. Josh, aka Damnesia, crosses the line to win in Italy after 32 laps. Salpi Sango crosses the line second, and Mello the Mello, Malusi the Malusi, takes advantage of all those penalties and takes the third and final podium spot out here in Italy. Romeo, aka Mandla, finds himself in P4. It's a great day to be a McLaren fan, because the two papaya orange cars are in the top 4. Lunds has recovered and finishes this race in P5. The 86er is in P6, a decent point finish for him considering the context of the season. Loveness is in P7. Tindo finishes in 8th place. C-Clay is in 9th, and Level 10th, Esbuda 11th. Seppu Temba finishes 12th. Ben Kobe 13th, and in last place is Kaboza. Well, whew, the comment section. Mello moves again. Mello might get second. Well, Mello gets third. Crash, you were absolutely spot on in your prediction that Mello would finish P3. Josh, Selby, Mello third. Damn. Well, does Mello become your driver of the day? Yes, says Inati in the comment section. Mello the Mello becomes Inati's vote for driver of the day. Let us know if you agree. An absolutely dramatic race and a dramatic ending here. It is Josh, aka Damnesia, with a stellar drive, as Brown Boy notes. He has been absolutely sublime, winning here in Italy, out here in Italy, in Imola. And as you can see, it is Selby and Mello the Mello in the top 3 spots. I absolutely cannot wait to welcome Selby to the commentary box, to welcome Josh, aka Damnesia, to the commentary box. And let's make sure that we get them in here as soon as possible. What a day it's been. What a race it's been. Oh, man. We're going to get these top 3 drivers into the comment section and, yeah, just get a sense of their thoughts and their impressions of that race. Absolutely dramatic end to the race here in Italy. Ah, man. All right. We are going to make sure that these drivers are in as quickly as possible here. And one of the first drivers to join me in the podium, he had an insane recovery drive, voted by some as driver of the day. He was leading. He slapped down an absolutely insane qualifying time, and I'd like to hear about that first. Congratulations, Mello the Mello, Mercedes the Mercedes, P3. How does that feel?
Oh man, I feel like P1, bro. That feels like freaking P1. I'll take it, man. I'll freaking take it. I'll freaking take it.
What? Tell us, what was the thinking there? I mean, we saw the top three runners coming in, and you all went on slicks, and we thought, since it's three of them, this could be a potential masterclass. What was the thinking there?
Man, bad decision making. The rain was very light initially, and it was predicted to stay like that for 10 more minutes, you know?
Yeah.
So the thinking was, if everyone jumps on inters, by the time it rained heavily, us on the softs would have opened the gap and then
yeah.
Again. But dismal, it was bad call.
Yeah. And as far as the rest of the race was concerned, we saw, I mean, it was an insane fight back as far as you were concerned, and you took advantage towards the end there of all those penalties. But take us through your mindset after you realize, okay, this is a mistake. I'm going to have to come in for those intermediate tires, and take us through the fight back process from your perspective.
I'm still shaking. No, that was splendid, man. Found myself P13, Bangobi P14. Our spirits were down and out. Then Bangobi just said to me, "Bruh, we have nothing to lose. If you fully send the car, DNS. If you fully send and you don't make decisions, still 0 points." So the car on the limit. Yeah, I made a comeback. I crashed, then went back to square one, but last minute, I think penalties helped one. Two people in front of me would just spin. I think there was Pan in front of me, got out of the way. Buddha was struggling, got out of the way, so I got in front. Mandla and Lungs were fighting. I saw their penalties, so I decided to hang back. Then the rest is history, boy. I'm having champagne now. Champizzi on the podium. Let's go.
Champopo on the podium. Absolutely incredible drive. And it is so good to welcome into the commentary box, into the podium, finishing in P2. What a race. We were watching your qualifying sessions. We were watching you defend Selby Makanya. Congratulations. How does that feel?
You know. Yeah, what's good, mate?
How does that feel? How was your race, man, from your perspective?
Man.
Yo, Selby, you there?
Race was crazy, mate. Like,
there we go.
The fact that I crashed in quali quite disappointed me, and I literally had to jump out of the shower. I didn't even moisturize, gents. I just rested on the seat to start racing. And the fact that I started seeing people crashing and I maintained my top half of the race really gave me an edge, because the moment I got the chance to follow Josh, I was like, I'm sticking behind.
Yeah. Wow, man. And tell us about towards the end there. I think you had in a fight with Mandla and Lungs. How on earth did you keep it together there?
No, those guys were just seeing my engine. There's nothing else they were doing. I'd only give it to Loveness, because he's the one who kind of quite threatened my position and my composure. And the moment he got a bit closer, I started losing my game. But for Looms and Manta, the moment I got my traction spots right, I just opened the gap.
Man, it was beautiful watching you hold on and absolutely insane race conditions, and the Loveness was on your tail, but he of course had the penalties to contend with, but you held on to that P2 spot. Josh, aka Damnesia, the top spot on the podium. Congratulations, welcome. How does it feel?
Yo, I'm so happy. I'm so fucking happy, guys. I needed a bit of luck tonight with Melo and Sitle making a bit of a strategy error there, because their pace was flipping insane. But yo, I'm just glad I brought it home. I think I drove a good race, didn't get any penalties, just trying to keep it clean in the rain, hoping the other guys made mistakes, and that's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
I'm fucking happy. Oh, excuse my language. I'm extremely happy.
Tell us about that fight. It was insane. Super dramatic with Lungs. The fight for the race lead at the race restart after the safety car. in those conditions. You just take us through that fight and how on earth you held it together.
Nobody knows this, but Lungs actually sent me a message a few days ago saying I must get used to the look of his gearbox. So tonight it was a little bit personal, and I had a little bit extra motivation to get past him. But yeah, when I made the move, I nearly sent it too far. I was very late on the brakes, and I thought I was going to go sliding through the gravel. But thank God the brake discs were warm, and we managed to keep it on track. But yeah, great battle with all the boys. I was a bit concerned about Loveness at the end because he had some crazy pace, but I saw that he had penalties, and then I decided to just coast at home and not take any risks at all.
Man, it was beautiful to see you fight it out and keep it together towards the end there. Selby and Josh, I'm going to ask you the same question. Selby, it's been a hell of a fight in the championship so far. Before today, you had just 13 points, and Josh had and you found yourself in 19th in the championship. Josh, you find yourself in P15 in the championship. So Selby, I want to ask you, of course, your target, you want to stay in Tier 1, but how much confidence and how much is this result going to give you moving on to the tail end of the season, Selby?
So what my strategy right now is to just keep as much consistency from here as I move forward, because I really want to, besides just staying in the league, I actually want to stay in a healthy position. Yeah. So that's my focus right now, trying to keep out of trouble, just focus on having clean races, make sure that I capitalize on people's mistakes, and that's just that.
All right, and Josh, you currently sit in a playoff spot. How much confidence are you taking from this, and can it be also, similar situation to Selby, just securing that place comfortably in the top tier?
You know what, Tyson? Being in the jaws of relegation and then stepping on the top of the podium, it's one hell of a nice feeling. So I just want to keep some of this momentum up. Like I've always rated myself as a driver that shouldn't be fighting for relegation, so it feels really, really good to get some points.
Oh man, and it's so good to see both of you on the podium. What a beautiful race, absolutely stunning. You were great as well, fighting your way through qualifying. Josh, thank you so much. We will see you next time. We will see you on Thursday. We wish you the best of luck in that race. And as well as everybody in the comments section, thank you for joining us. This has been the top tier of Breakaway F1 racing. What a race we've had out here in Imola. Congratulations to all our podium finishers. And we will see you all on Thursday. Let's go.
Josh,
thanks for my teammates. Well done,
I'm in Toby's house.
What's up, fella? Thanks, bro. I'm just glad that you made that strategy error, or else I wouldn't have had a chance. But thank you for that,
man. Congrats, guys. We'll catch you in the next one, everybody. Thank you, Winati.
Thanks, Tyson.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.